Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I want to talk to you about three things tonight. Number one is the latest updates from the ground on Gaza, and we have many updates from the Palestinian resistance. The second thing that I wanted to talk to you about today is the ICJ, the UN's judicial body, calling for Israel to immediately allow food aid and medical aid into Gaza. And the third thing that I wanted to talk to you about is the Iraqi resistance targeting the Ministry of Defense in Israel. I'm going to start off with Gaza, and we've had many updates when it comes to the Palestinian resistance, primarily around Khan Yunis. And I deliberately say around Khan Yunis because many of the reports say it's in Khan Yunis. Many people will think it's in Khan Yunis internally. However, it's in the province of Khan Yunis. Many of them are outside of the refugee camp, the main hub of Khan Yunis, so that people know that Israel is not actually inside of Khan Yunis. Israel has been selling the lie that they completely dismantled the Hamas brigades all across of Gaza and including in Khan Yunis. They even claimed that they targeted all of the tunnel systems in Khan Yunis. So we had attacks from Al-Qassam brigades in an area called Al-Qarrara. It wasn't only Al-Qassam brigades who were active there. There was also Kataib Shuhada Al-Aqsa Martyrs brigades that belongs to the Fatah movement that Mahmoud Abbas, the Palestinian president, officially leads. However, they have an armed group in Gaza, and they do not belong directly to the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank. However, they're split from the same ideological background. They had attacks also in the western part of Khan Yunis called Hayy al-Amal neighborhood, and all of the attacks combined in those areas included attacking Israeli forces, tanks and bulldozers with TBG and Yasin 105 RPG missiles. They also targeted units hiding in residential buildings, and they targeted special forces in other locations that were on the ground in those areas. The other part that witnessed many activities today was the southern part of Gaza. We had combined actions from Al-Qassam Brigade, Saraya Al-Quds, and Kataib Shuhada Al-Aqsa. The levels of attacks led Israel to admit that 16 Israeli soldiers were wounded only in the last 24 hours. And they admitted they were wounded in Hayy al-Amal, that's only in the western part of Khan Yunis. They did not take into consideration the heavier attacks and the losses that they had in Al-Qarrara. And they said that 6 out of the 16 are critically wounded, and that one soldier from the Egoz unit in the IDF was killed. So we're having all of these intense actions at the same time that Israel is still talking about going and attacking Rafah. When it comes to Rafah, apparently the Israeli army is sending the political leadership multiple alternatives for a full-scale ground invasion in Rafah. Some of them include minor invasions in Rafah. Some of them include limited activities. But we've had reports that they had 4 proposals for the political leadership in Israel to go into Rafah. This is coming at the same time that Israel is receiving more and more criticism when it comes to Rafah, including from the biggest ally, the United States of America and the Biden administration. The second thing that I wanted to talk to you about is the ICJ. So the ICJ is the UN's judicial organ. They're now calling for Israel to allow medical aid and food aid immediately into Gaza. This is the same court that told Israel to stop committing genocide 2 months ago. So 2 months ago, they ordered Israel, it's an order, court order, stop committing genocide. Number 1, saying that Israel is actually committing a genocide. Number 2, asking them to immediately stop committing genocide. However, that did not stop Israel. Israel killed over 5,000 Palestinian people, civilians, innocent civilians, since this order from the ICJ. And now they're telling Israel, please allow aid and food aid and medical aid into Gaza. Do they think that Israel will comply? So far, every single court order that's come out from the UN, from the ICJ, anywhere, Israel's been ignoring it. Israel doesn't care about any of these court orders, anything about the international community, and it acts as it wishes regardless of the international community, of the international courts, of UN resolutions, of anything. And the only thing that's stopping Israel at the moment from completing the ethnic cleansing in Gaza is the Palestinian resistance and the Palestinian people. That's what's stopping Israel from completing the genocide, and not the ICJ and not international countries. We're seeing a shift in terms of the international tone, where countries are criticizing Israel more vocally. They're more aggressive when it comes to their stance with Israel. They're more reluctant to deal with Israel. They're not supplying Israel with arms. All of that is good progress, but nothing is enough to stop the catastrophe that's happening in Gaza. Israel will most likely not comply unless they are met with force, which is what they've proven ever since their establishment, that they only understand the language of force. Israel occupied Sinai, Israel occupied parts of Lebanon. Israel constantly attacks other countries. The only way they withdraw and take a step back is when they are attacked. Israel proved that they do not understand the language of diplomacy. This language of diplomacy has been tried and tested for over 30 years from the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank. It proved that Israel only proceeds, continues its expansion, its aggression, its occupation, its apartheid, its supremacy regime, and they do not understand anything but the language of force. The third thing that I want to talk to you about is the Iraqi resistance attacking the Ministry of Defense. This was reported 6 days ago. However, I personally did not receive a verification 6 days ago that the Iraqi resistance committed this action. However, we had proof today that they indeed said, they went out with a statement saying that we targeted the Israeli Ministry of Defense with the date, and they showed images of them targeting the Israeli Ministry of Defense. We had no confirmation that they landed. We only saw that they launched UAVs to attack the Israeli Ministry of Defense. Israel obviously did not confirm anything, but this has been an ongoing trend from the Iraqi resistance, that they target very sensitive locations when it comes to Israel. Firstly, they attacked the Karish gas field next to Lebanon. Then they attacked the Haifa chemical refinery. They also attacked Haifa airport. They attacked Ashdod port. They attacked the Haifa port as well, alongside other strategic areas in Israel. And this is sending a message to Israel that the resistance is continuing, despite the fact that they had a very small break and they stopped their actions against Israel for a while. They're at it full throttle when it comes to Israel, and the resistance movements are coordinated at a very high level when it comes to targeting Israel. And these were the main things that I wanted to talk to you about, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Take care.